What's up everyone? Hey, I wanted to go through one of the recipes that I'm eating on my nutrition cycle. It's actually a creamy salmon dish with some spinach, but I'm actually substituting the salmon with some ahi tuna steaks. So it's gonna be great. Got some ingredients, let's get cooking. Okay, so here we are. We've got our pan heated up. We're gonna be searing the ahi tuna first. I've got 4 fairly thick cut ahi tuna steaks. Check that out, seasoned up with some salt and pepper. And then we're just going to sear these on each side for probably around 4 minutes or so, 3.5, 4 minutes a piece. There's the ahi tuna. Okay, now we're gonna flip the ahi tuna. Now, depending on how you like your tuna, is going to depend on how long you cook it per side. I like my tuna medium, so I'm not going to cook it quite as long. Okay, now our ahi tuna is done, so we're going to pull it out of the pan. We're going to set it on another plate while we work on the sauce. Okay, so the garlic's released a good portion of its flavor, so now we're going to add in the onion. We've got 1 small yellow onion that we're adding into the mix. I love onion. It's very, very flavorful. So basically what we're going to do is just kind of let this cook down for a couple of minutes within the garlic sauce here. Okay, so the onions are cooking down and they're starting to look really good. They're starting to smell amazing. So let's talk about the butter that I use. You know, you could substitute the butter with some ghee. You know, some people really like that. I've tried it, it's okay, but I prefer to use butter. You know, with the way that I'm doing my nutrition with a shake for breakfast, a shake for lunch, and then dinner, I'm probably gonna be a little bit more flexible on the things that I use within. You know, am I gonna limit my sugars? Of course. But I'm going to use butter. I'm probably going to use cream and things like that, especially on a dish like this. So, all right, the onions are just about ready. So now I'm going to put in a jar of, and you can't hardly see that, sun-dried tomatoes. It calls for about 6 ounces or so. This is about an 8 ounce. So we're going to use that. We're going to cook these down for probably a minute or so, just to kind of release the flavor of the sun-dried tomatoes. Okay, so we've got our sun-dried tomatoes. They are smelling really, really good. Been cooking for probably about a minute and a half or so. Now we're going to add in about 1/3 cup of vegetable broth into this mix. This cream is definitely thickening up. It's looking good. It's smelling good. You know, so let's talk about one of the things that I've discussed in previous videos is I'm a foodie. I want food to taste good, even if I'm on a really clean, you know, nutrition cycle. I still want the food to taste good, which I'm not saying this is super clean because of some of the butter and the creams and things like that. And we're gonna be adding some Parmesan cheese also. But the other thing that I think about is sustainability. Something that you can do long term, and I'm just telling you, you can't eat food that tastes terrible long term. That is a recipe for burnout and disaster. And so the more we can cook good foods that taste good, and even if they're kind of on the fringe sometimes as far as some of the ingredients, things can always be substituted. The butter you can substitute for ghee. You know, you could, instead of doing cream, you could do some kind of like garlic buttery sauce that would be a little bit better than maybe using all the extra cream. But I love cream, so we're going to eat the cream. Okay, now we're ready to add Parmesan cheese. We've got about a 1/2 cup, actually slightly over. Don't judge me, please. I love cheese. Who doesn't love cheese? All right, so we're gonna add the Parmesan cheese in, stir it up a little bit, and then basically wait for it to melt. Probably won't take long because this sauce is pretty hot here already. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add in about 3 cups of spinach. There it is, the spinach, the power food. So we're gonna be eating 2 power foods, broccoli and spinach tonight. Okay, now the last step before we add the ahi tuna back in is the spinach. We're gonna do about 3 cups of fresh spinach here, give or take a little bit. If you're like me, I love spinach, but I either want it cooked in a creamy sauce, or actually enjoy a good spinach salad sometimes too. So we're just gonna basically get this worked in really good, and we're not looking to cook it for a long time. We just really want the spinach leaves to kind of wilt. And then once that happens, we are gonna add the ahi tuna back in. We're gonna plate it, and then we're gonna destroy it. All right, now it's ready to add the ahi tuna back into the sauce, back into the pan. So we're gonna add all 4 of those in there, like so. And then we're gonna take this sauce, this creamy, garlicky, buttery, cheesy sauce here, and we're just gonna let that kind of heat back up for a few minutes. Then we're gonna enjoy it. All right, and there you have it, the creamy, garlicky ahi tuna, Tuscan style. It looks beautiful. We're gonna grow. It's gonna be amazing. Until the next video, see you next time.